A lot of confusion here in southern Delaware. A plane that was sent to Martha's Vineyard full of asylum seekers just last week was set to arrive here in Georgetown, Delaware, some 20 miles away from the president's beach house.
Yeah, well, according to the lieutenant governor, Florida could join other states in the nation in busing undocumented immigrants to other parts of the country. The big question here, would that include the thousands of Cuban migrants arriving here on the shores of South Florida?
Governor Ron DeSantis continues to defend his actions, instead blaming President Joe Biden for his open border policies, which he says is leading to a nationwide crisis.
Those migrants were being treated horribly by Biden. They were hungry, homeless. They had no opportunity at all.
That's right. Within the last 45 minutes, we learned lawyers for some of the migrants on last week's flights have now filed a lawsuit against Governor Ron DeSantis. They claim what they went through was unconstitutional. We're still reading through their complaint. We'll share more coming up tonight at 6 o'clock.
Well, Governor Ron DeSantis made a stop in South Florida. He was asked about Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunez's comments regarding his administration's plan to send Cuban migrants to Delaware.
A plane was touching down at the Delaware Coastal Airport, but it wasn't full of migrants. Ultimate Air Shuttle 11, originally scheduled to go from San Antonio to Crestview, Florida, to here in southern Delaware, never arrived.
Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunez's comments coming this morning on Spanish language talk radio here in South Florida. Nunez saying that's why the governor has worked with the legislature to secure funding to make sure that people that come here illegally, that they don't stay here with their arms crossed, thinking about what they will be able to do. We are going to send that person, frankly, to Delaware, the president's home state.
If you can do it at the source and divert to sanctuary jurisdictions, the chance they end up in Florida is much less.
It comes as the sheriff in Bexar County, Texas, opens an investigation into DeSantis' actions.
As for what is happening in Delaware today, we learned one of the same planes that flew to Massachusetts last week was scheduled to land in Georgetown this afternoon. Officials waiting there at the airport say no one has arrived.
So it doesn't apply to refugees, and I think Jeanette was talking about refugees, and they were trying. It does not. It applies to people illegally crossing the southern border who want to come to Florida or who come to Florida, or even if they, because a lot of them say they want to, and if they're here illegally, then that's a much different thing than being a refugee.
Jill Freddles from the Delaware Department of Health and Human Services.
Someone has to arrive in our state, and we have had no one arrive yet. Should they arrive? Should people arrive in our state? We are prepared to meet their immediate needs, whether those are housing, shelter, do they need medical care, do they need transportation, do they need food? We are prepared to meet all of those needs.